So the film begins, and we see the hero of the story believe Wonka, who was on a ship at this time because he was going to another city to start his life anew. Wonka now descends from the ship, singing and dancing, and while having fun, he walks towards the city and starts roaming around different places. He goes to the city market where people had their different shops. Then he sees a closed shop on which Worm's name was written. He thinks that this shop is mine, where people are dancing with me, singing songs, and having a lot of fun. But in reality, only Worm's name was dancing there. All this was his thought. Now the same night passed, and he was still roaming in the streets of the city. After this, he came and sat on a bench because he did not have a house, so he was going to sleep here. Then a man came to him. He tells that my house is nearby. I and my wife give rooms on rent. If you want, you can stay at my house by paying rent. So he took their luggage and left with them. When they reached the man's house, he met his wife. Now, before getting the room, he had to sign an agreement. The principal was also made by that man and his wife, and he was about to sign it when the black girl sitting under the table, whose name was Noodle, signals Wonka not to sign. Now Noodle was the daughter of both of them. Wonka did not understand what Noodle said, but he had become suspicious. That is why he opens the entire agreement, and it was very long that he did not even have enough time to read it, so he signs it compelledly, and finally he gets the room. After he leaves, Noodle's mother punishes him that why did you signal Wonka? She locks him in a small room again, where it was very dark. The next morning, Wonka goes to the market again and tells the people there about himself. He says, my name is Willy Wonka, and I am a magician. I also make very interesting chocolates, which also have magic in them. Wonka takes off his hat and does magic. He takes out a jar full of chocolates from his hat. He opens the jar and turns it upside down. All the chocolates come out of the jar and start flying in the air. As soon as Worm signals, all the chocolates come back to the jar and close. Now, seeing this feat of Wonka, the people standing there are very impressed and surprised. They start clapping for him because they enjoyed this magic trick a lot. And now the villains of the story come here, one of whom is named Slugvrat, and the other two were his companions. Now, these people had a chocolate factory in this city. They delivered chocolates all over the city, which clearly meant that they would not let Wonka's chocolates work here. Now Slug says to Wonka, boys, we would also like to taste your chocolate. Let's see how your chocolates taste. When he ate the chocolate, he felt inside that, wow, what a chocolate. I enjoyed it, but he says to Wonka, oh man, these chocolates are really rubbish. Your chocolates are totally useless, which was obviously a lie. He started flying in the air, and along with him, the other two also started flying. Wonka opens the jar of chocolates, and all the chocolates started flying here and there, and the people standing there started eating them, and they all also started flying in the air. Wonka says that these are my magical chocolates, whose effect will last only for some time. As soon as the effect of the chocolates wore off, when everyone came down, they praised Wonka because everyone liked the chocolates very much. After this, Wonka came back to the same house where the landlord's wife asked for the rent of the same room. The 500 pies were over. Now they thought that if they don't pay the rent, she gets her housework done. So the woman's husband throws Wonka into a big pipe. From there, he falls into the basement. Here he meets 4 people. Those who had not paid the rent were asked to work here. A laundry shop was set up in the basement where everyone was washing clothes. Wonka got along well with them, and everyone became friends with him, and now they also taught Wonka how to wash clothes. After working the whole day, everyone was sent to their rooms at night. Noodles goes to Wonka's room while giving food to everyone. Wonka opens his bag after taking his food. Then we saw that he has a small setup with which he used to make his chocolate. This time also, he makes a chocolate and gives it to Noodles, which she also likes very much. Now we see the police chief who comes to a church and meets the father. The police chief gives a chocolate to the father. The father eats the chocolate and presses a plus sign, which was a button, and as soon as this happened, the police chief's chair went down. That is, he comes to the basement. Then we see a secret setup here, which belonged to none other than Slugworth and his friend. They had a secret factory here where they used to make chocolate. They bribed the police chief with chocolates and said that whatever happens, Wonka should be stopped from making chocolate. The next morning, when the owner blows the whistle, Wonka and all his friends come out of their rooms and again start going to the laundry room. Before going to wash clothes, the owner started entangling the owner in his talk. He tells him, I am giving you free advice. You should live with your wife lovingly. This will make your life very happy. Then, when they all went to the laundry, Wonka uses his brain and tricks here too. He creates such a setup that all these works were happening automatically. Like the dog was running after the food. Due to that, the clothes were also getting washed on their own. The water was also coming out and even soaking it off. That means now no one had to do any work, seeing which everyone was quite surprised and happy. happy. The owner of the house could not know about all this because he was busy trying to make his wife happy on the advice of Wonka. Now there was a small lift from where the clothes used to come in and out. Wonka sits inside the clothes and goes out. Then Noodle comes out from there and goes to a zoo. Both of them come near a female giraffe. Noodle sings a song to the giraffe, which she enjoys a lot, and then goes behind Wonka and starts taking her milk to put in chocolates so that it becomes more tasty. Noodle tells her that the owner, the house, and his wife are not my real mom-dad. Rather, they found me lying somewhere, and I have never seen my real mom-dad. She became very sad after telling this. Wonka sings a song and dances for her so that her mood becomes good, and in reality, Noodle also becomes very happy. Now the storm is at night, and Noodle was dancing in the zoo, where the police sees them. Then the police chief also comes here. He catches Wonka and puts his head in cold water. Then he tells him that from now on, neither make nor sell chocolates. Due to this, poor Wong got very upset. Then he and Noodle come back home, and Wong tells all his friends about his problem. When his old friend says that earlier, I also used to do this work for those three and their friends, where one day I found a diary of theirs in which everything was written about their secret factory. That is the map of the factory and planes. Everything was there, and now the old man tells everything about that map and their planes to Wonka as well. That means now Wonka knew, because where is their secret chocolate factory? Then the next morning, we see that Wonka, Noodle, and his friends spread out in different places like spies and start selling Wonka's chocolates secretly. And whenever Wonka gets to know that the police is coming, he used to run away through the gutter, and in this way, by selling chocolate, Wonka and his team earn a lot of money. At night, when Wonka was sleeping, suddenly someone stealthily enters his room through the window. Jodara-san. He had come to steal chocolates. As soon as he started stealing chocolates, his foot comes on something due to which he falls into a very big jar while being pulled by a pipe. Because of this, Wonka's eyes opened. When he checked, he saw the chocolate thief trapped in the jar. Actually, it was a small man. Like the ones who are born, his skin was of the same color, and the color of his hair was green. That small man tells Omka his name, which was Oompa Loompa. Both of them talk, and we get to know the story. Let us see that a long time ago, Wonka went to an island. From that island, Wonka had plucked some magical fruits which were being guarded by Oompa Loompa, but he could not know that he was taking the fruit, because at that time, Oompa Loompa was sleeping, and Wonka went away from there with the fruit, and when Oompa Loompas mother came there, they saw that the fruits have been stolen, and Oompa Loompa was sleeping. They got angry at this and decided to punish him, for which they made Oompa Loompa sit in a boat to evict him from his house, and sent him away from the island. Now he says that because of you, I became homeless from home. If you had not stolen, I would have been on my island. Because of this, I was angry with you, and I used to steal your chocolate. He tells him, okay, now you set me free. I promise that I will not say anything to you and will not leave from here. I will stay with you and will also help you by befriending you. Trusting him, Wonka frees him, but Oompa runs away with the chocolates. Next time we see that Wonka and his team have earned so much money that Wonka can finally rent a shop of his choice, and his team goes to the same shop where he had dreamt of working. Everyone was very happy, and together they clean this garbage-like shop completely and decorate it well and start working. That is, he had started making chocolates. When Slug Vrat and his friends came to know about this, they called the police chief and asked him to get his shop closed somehow. Then the police chief said that he had opened his shop legally, which I cannot get closed like this. And now finally, Wonka opens his beautiful shop where the whole team comes prepared. After which, the process of people coming also started. A beautiful forest was made where there were trees, plants, colorful flowers, clouds, rain, animals, all of which looked very beautiful. Because the interesting thing was that all those things were made of these chocolates, which obviously tasted very amazing too. People liked all this decoration very much, and on the very first day, a lot of chocolates of Wonka and his team were seen because people were liking the chocolates very much. Everything was going very well, but the problem arose when everyone was having a bad effect after eating the chocolates. That is, they were having side effect, which was that everyone's hair was growing rapidly, and the surprising thing was that the hair was not black. Rather, it was colorful. Some had pink, some had blue, some had green, and God knows what other colors. Behind all this was Slagworth, who had mixed God knows what in Wonka's chocolates. These people's beard, eyelashes, and hair were growing very fast. Because of this, people got so angry at Wonka that they broke his entire shelf and everything, due to which poor Wonka's heart was also broken, and with this sorrow, he starts crying that everything is ruined. Then we are shown a scene from Wonka's childhood where his mother used to make chocolates with great fun because she was a chocolate maker, and Wonka had learnt to make chocolate from her. He then promised his mom that when he grows up, he will become such a good chocolate maker that people will love to eat his chocolates and will be thrilled by the taste, and he will open his own chocolate business. But today, the poor man's dream was shattered when his enemy Slugworth and his companions came here. They lured him with money and asked him to make chocolates for them, but he refused to accept their offer. The three of them said that he should leave the city because there is something wrong with his chocolate, and it can create problems for him in the future. So, with a heavy heart, Wonka takes care of himself. He leaves the house and comes to the port where the three of them had prepared a ship for Wonka in which he would leave from here. The three of them were also there, and the police chief was also with them. These people said goodbye to Wonka, and he boarded the ship because they were actually pretending to be good. The ship started moving from there, and Wonka sat at one place and started thinking about all these things. Then Oompa came to Wonka because both of them had become friends, and he was also going with Wonka. Wonka came to know from his words. The chocolates were not mixed with slugs, but something else. That is why he ran to the captain so that he could stop the ship, but the captain was not there. Instead, a bomb was planted, and the next moment, the bomb exploded. Due to this, the whole ship got submerged in water. Now, Wonka's team shifted here, and they had earned a lot of money by selling Wonka's chocolate, so they pay the rent of their room. Now, these people left from there to feel free. After their departure, the landlord locks the house and his wife Noodle in a small room again, but then Wonka and his team come here and free Noodle, because somehow he had survived the ship accident. Then the team steals a female giraffe from the zoo and leaves her in the same church under which the chocolate secret was. Now the giraffe runs here and there in the church and creates havoc when the father immediately calls the emergency team, but that phone is also picked up by a friend of Wonka, a member of his team. After some time, two looks of Vomka's team come to take the giraffe posing as an emergency team, and they were taking it in a truck. Vomka and Noodle were also hiding in the same truck, and Vomka's two companions took the giraffe from there, while Vomka and Noodle hide in the basement of the church. Bunny comes to the chocolate factory. Here she also finds the diary about which Vomka's old friend had told her. In this diary, all the bad deeds that Slugvrot and his companions did were written. Then those three come here. In front of Slugvrot, his two companions, and Noodle, Slugvrot tells that Noodle is my daughter. I used to like a woman. We got married secretly. Then a daughter was born. That means Noodle had not told anyone about the marriage. That is why she used to bring that girl's name to me every day and used to say that she is your daughter. Now shocked, one day I left this girl outside someone else's house. Then Noodle came to know that my real father was Lagbad, who was such a bad person, and his companions hold both of them at gunpoint and take them to the room where chocolates are mixed. These three lock Wonka and Noodle in that room and drop chocolates from above. Chocolates started falling like rain. The room was filled with noise, due to which both of them were drowning in chocolate. All three of them started laughing, seeing them dying, and left from there. While in the end, both of them get completely drowned in chocolate. But then Oompa Loompa Wonka's friend comes here, who closes the lid of the chocolate machine and stops the pressure of chocolate, due to which finally both of them are saved and she is able to breathe, and he, her, and Noodle. In this condition, they come out of the church and both of them were already standing there, and the police chief was also with them. Noodle had a diary in which all the bad deeds of these three were written. That is, this diary was a proof against them. Shivam gives this to the senior officer because by then the police had also come there, and when the officer sees the diary, he finds that Slug was with his companion. He also arrests the police chief because he had also fully supported the three in their bad deed. Then instead of water, chocolate starts coming out of the fountain, which was Joe's plan, and he had made this chocolate too. Everyone enjoys drinking this chocolate juice, and Joe turns back, and today, Wonka's dream comes true here, Joe. Seeing this, he was very happy. Now the surprise for Noodle here was that Wonka introduces her to her real mother, and both mother and daughter become very happy to meet each other. When this Oompa Loompa came to Wonka, he became happy to see him because after all, he had saved his life and he was also his friend. So Wonka takes off his hat and takes out a big box filled with chocolate from inside it and gives it to him and promises to keep him with him from the end. After which, Wonkum and Amba go to see a place. Where Wonka was going to open his new chocolate factory, he finds a very good place in the mile, due to which he became very happy. That means now his dream of opening his own business was also going to be fulfilled very soon. This wonderful film also ends here.